Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Good
hello.
Wednesday to you all.
Yep.
It is
I have to say,
today.
are we getting better numbers now that we moved to Wednesday from Thursday?
No, it's actually about the same. To be honest, I looked like we don't really get a lot of live view ever, but
Yeah.
we get a lot of posts
Okay.
view, like people in the posts. So it's it's still about the same though. It's either 20 people watch this or 100 people watch this. There's no in between. Uh,
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to
so
start be like, tune into our OnlyFans called Todd
oh,
Fans.
there we go. Podly fans. We're gonna start Podly fans, where we're gonna sit there and read comic books while we're naked.
with
Great,
with Todd's beer.
right? While drinking Three Rivers beers. That's it. That's the whole thing. Podly fans. If you want it, you let us know. Put it in the comments. It'll be great. Uh,
I'm gonna spit out
Reach
my
out to me. Let
drink.
me know for sure. It'll be fine. We'll, I
Gonna
mean,
have to charge extra for that, John.
I always said if I was gonna do if I was gonna do an OnlyFans, I was gonna do a cake sitting OnlyFans. So because I think people would love it. So if there's dudes that like to watch women cake sit, there are definitely women who like to watch dudes cake sit. So anyway, um,
Good start to
so yeah,
the podcast.
yeah, it's a good
Uh,
podcast. Well, I mean,
yeah.
this one, while we have books to review, like we don't really have a lot to talk about. The new
Well,
Ghostbusters trailer came out, so we're going to talk about that for a little bit towards the end.
Marvels is
Um,
coming out.
Marvels is coming out. I'm going tomorrow at 4:45 in the Dolby Surround Sound Studio at
Ooh,
the AMC. I was like, ooh, and I get matinee price, so it's only like $14
only.
only.
Uh,
But you know
I
what
was
though? Seeing stuff in Dolby like has really, I've really started to like it more than like IMAX and regular for sure. The sound quality is insanely good, and the picture is so much brighter. It's like the difference between a regular and a 4K TV, like a 1080 and a 4K. I don't own a 4K, but I know a lot of people that do.
yes.
And it's definitely like there is a difference, and you can tell.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like
Thanks
it's kind
every.
of like the laser disc phenomena back in the day there, when everybody's like, "Oh, laser discs are the future." What was it like a year later? It's like laser discs are worthless.
I
So
mean,
it's
technically, they were. They just shrunk them down, right?
yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a total lie.
True.
But anyway,
I don't think that's what
uh,
they were aiming for, though, to be fair.
that's very fair. So for those of you who were on last week and watched Grant doing one last push for his Kickstarter, it did fun today. So good job, Grant! Yay! Um,
Nice.
very excited about that.
And it was
So
nice seeing him Sunday. For those who
yeah,
showed up for the Pittsburgh Comic Show, which it was very busy. We did
it
well.
definitely it
I
started
think
out a little
everybody did
slow.
well.
It
Yes.
started out a little slow, but
It's
it did end up being very good.
yes. Yeah.
I
Well,
think
then
I think the problem was that it was weird because like they had the basement open,
yes.
so you couldn't tell how many people were downstairs at a time,
Yeah.
and that was weird because at first I'm like, man, like I'm not seeing a lot of people coming in here, but then I'm like, but we're making money, so you can't really be mad.
Yeah.
And but overall, I thought it was a good show. It was, you know, very well done, very well managed.
Yep.
The people came out for it, and that's what matters. We got to hang out with our buddies from the Riserverse who were sitting beside us. Um, We got to see Justin Birch, who was across from us, and I'm pretty sure that was Dad that was there with him,
Yes.
which was also
Yes.
kind of cool. Um, and I picked up this bad boy, which, by the way, I also picked up one of these in Cranberry not too long ago. But then I
Nice.
also realized today that I already had it. So whatever. So if anyone's looking for an Iron Man 2,
Well,
I
I was
don't
gonna
remember what I
say,
paid for it, but I can figure it out. It'll be fine.
I picked up a couple minor books, nothing spectacular, but Spectre number 7.
Spectre.
To be fair, it's not worth it. It's actually worth a little bit just because of the age. There's no key
Hmm.
to it. It's just a really cool looking cover. And then I got Cap and the Falcon number 146.
Nice.
So,
Uh, so some NDC stuff coming up. We have the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Currently, the one thing we have going on, sure, is Pat Olive will be at the waterfront. I'm
it's always a
working on some
pleasure to
other
see
stuff.
him.
Yeah, his new Secret Wars Battle Worlds comes out that day.
Mhm.
Um, we might end up with someone at the mills working on that. We might have more people at the waterfront working on that. Hopefully by next week I'll be able to tell everybody about all this stuff.
We
But our
still
Black
have the
Friday sale
Funko
is up.
sale. The
Yep.
Funko
I was
sales
gonna
too.
say like the Funko sale's going on at the mills only.
Yes.
Um, and it is 3 for 30 on the 11.99 ones only.
Yes.
Um, that will end on probably Black Friday. So make sure you come out before that because Black
Yes.
Friday is going to be crazy. It's 20% off a $50 or more purchase, just like last year and the year before that. But more importantly, all of our dollar books company wide go 50% off until the end of the year, from Black Friday till New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So, yeah, come out and dig. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep. So
If you
please
haven't
come
dug
to the
our,
mills. There are plenty of Funkos for you guys out there. Trust us, we have been digging
yeah,
through the damn things.
yes, there are a lot of Funkos. Oh shit! And so, fuck. So, I said this was gonna be for the art auction. I am intending it to still be for the art auction. So when the Three Rivers art auction comes up next year, um, one of these I submitted two of them to TBCS in New York, and one is mine for my personal, and the other one is this gloriously foil, which means it's not really gonna show well.
Yeah, it's too dark.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
You can't. Yeah, you can
So
kind of see it now.
9/8, signed by Maria Wolf, the foil Transformers one cover. Um, I have one for the art auction, one for myself. It's gonna be bitchin'.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that at all, make sure you come. Tickets are on sale for the con. They went on sale. Uh, Slowly we are doing some announcements. We're only doing like a couple a week, but I promise you it will ramp up very quickly.
I was gonna
And it'll
say
be worth.
who we have so far. We got Tom. We have
The only
Tom.
three
We
have
have
we have
Pat, and we
yeah.
have Ron.
So this week's announcements were Tom Scioli, Pat Olive, Ron Friend.
Mhm.
Um, Next week will include at least one person who has never been a guest at the show, at
Nice.
least, if not two. Um, I'm just waiting for a confirmation email on the other one.
I was gonna
So,
say I feel like Pat and Ron are resident Pittsburghy. Come on down and talk to
hmm?
the talk to our native Pittsburgher artists, and
Yeah.
you know they're always fun to
Well,
talk to. They're all
there's Tom though. I mean, he's got his own podcast. He's
yeah,
been a
but he
guest
was
on
not here
Comic
last. He
Kayfabe
was
for a long
not
time.
there this past year, so we
No, he
can't
was
say
there the
he
year
was there.
before.
Yes.
So he usually does like every 3 years. This is I think his third or fourth one. Third one out of eight. So almost every 3 years.
Okay.
Tom's a good dude. I like Tom a lot. Anyway, so yeah. Um, I don't think I have anything else. We'll just talk comics and we'll talk that trailer because I think I'm kind of tapped out. I'm beat. Like,
I
oh,
was gonna
not only do we have
say
a shitload of Funko at the mills, we have a buttload of new supplies in.
supplies, yeah.
So if you're looking for store folios, you're looking for BCW black, red, or green short boxes, or
Blue.
graded boxes, or black long boxes, like the plastic fold up ones that are awesome. Make sure you check those out too. Oh yeah, blue and or blue and red. There was
Yeah, it's
supposed to be
blue
a
and
green
red.
one.
We
The
didn't get
green one I
green.
think is on back order. Yeah.
Mm,
So yeah. So lots of cool store folios. There's
yeah.
like Witchblade, Darkness, My Little Pony, Bloodshot, Exo Manowar,
Walking Dead.
comic book, Walking Dead Negan, Walking Dead regular, and there's just a blue one.
Yeah, there's a
So
blue one. Like there's a couple of like plainy ones that, some people enjoy because you don't have to be, show off, although I do
yep.
like the darkness one. It looks pretty sweet. And the Witchblade one is the classic Michael Turner one for those who are big Michael Turner fans. So
We also have a lot of cool new or restocked art box short boxes. So
yes,
two different My
lots
Little
of
Ponies,
those.
two different Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, um, a Magic the Gathering, Berserker,
It's a
Someone's Killing the
it's a
Children.
yes.
There's another one, Transformers. That might be it. There might be
Once in
one more I'm
future.
missing.
There's a once in
Oh yeah,
future
Once
one
in
too.
Future. Yeah, yeah. So
And
there's a
of
lot.
course we have tons and tons of Marvel ones as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We just got in
And
two new ones, I think, in addition to those other ones. I think one was for Spider-Man: The Gang War,
yep. And the other
and
is Spider Gwen Smash,
yes,
which you would think that they would have named that book differently,
Mm,
but
no.
I was like, oh, this is so Miles is in this book, yeah. Anyway, all right, let's do some books because that way we don't get pulled down a rabbit hole of bad, awkward adult jokes.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. You know me. There wasn't a lot of my usual reads, but I did see this, and as a uh, Justice League Society, this is the one that started it all. Is the formation of the group, and what this is like early Doctor Fate appearance, early Spectre, what Green Lantern joins the crew. I mean, this is the beginning of like this predated Justice League to begin with.
Well, yeah, the Justice League doesn't show up till Brave and the Bold, which is decades later.
Later, yeah. So this was the original, superhero group. I never got to hold. I have never held an original one. I do like the fact that again, DC does this better than Marvel does, in my opinion, because everything is original except they actually make a noticeable difference. So you don't have those scammers screwing people around on eBay and whatnot because they have the price tag there. It's not the 10 cent, but it's $6.99 price tag right where the 10 center is.
I think you're wrong. I think that Marvel does do the same. I'm gonna look that up while you.
They do it differently because they have it with the barcode in the front. But if it's more modern ones, they still have that issue of like the Miles Morales first appearance, because that is so modern that they actually, again, they've had issues where people get scammed because of the reprints of this. I think you could do a reprint like this DC does it better because they make it, yes, it's a reprint copy, but we're going to make sure that you know that the price tag is modern price tag so that you know that is a reprint of today and
So
not.
the Marvel ones do the same thing, except it's where the price was on the Marvel. So, but it's the same size. It's not like that giant oversized price ticker.
Yeah,
So they do the same thing. It's just
I think
this one's a
DC's
little more
more
noticeable.
noticeable. They make
Also,
it.
this is the inking in this is different because it's different paper.
Yes, yeah. Well, obviously not going to
Inking the
make it
coloring, yeah,
like original. Yeah,
right.
that's the it does come in a shiny foily, uh, but that's an $8.99, I think, for the
Mm-hmm.
foil one. Um, as a Doctor Fate collector, I had to have this because maybe someday in my life I will come across one of these and add it to my Dr. Fate collection and my JSA collection. But for right now, this is a nice placeholder. Um, it has all the classic, this is from the World War II era because of the language.
Yeah.
Very corny. But again, it is one of those classic books that I think it's undervalued sometimes. I feel like it is comparative to Marvel Keys, even with the market shifting constantly now. This is one of those books that I think will be like, it's similar to like a 181 or a giant size X-Men. It's always going to have a steady, like, plateau of value, just because it is like very historic and it is golden age, so it's hard to argue with a golden age book.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's gonna be always a staple. Um,
Mhm.
hold on, I'm looking up to see what the current price is.
I think what they said, low grades are around 3 grand, give or take.
Yep, a 1.0 is like around three.
Yeah.
So in hella nice condition, not graded, just raw,
Yeah.
you're looking at $750,000.
Yeah.
So it's a three
Well,
hundred thousand
again,
dollar book in a nice
golden
state.
age. it's
Yeah,
it's a golden
right,
age, it's
right.
so
So
again,
so how are you gonna get that then again? Just
like I said, hey, if I hit the lotto, it's
yeah.
affordable for me.
I mean, you
Uh,
could get a 1.0. You could
I could
totally
get
get
a
a
one
1.0.
zero. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's just
affordable.
finding it. So if anybody has a 1.0, I'm down, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But hey,
Right.
it's one of those classic books, underrated. Um, I don't know what else I could say about it. This was a fun little read for me because I don't think I even read it, to be honest with you, because I've
I
never
think did I
I've never
read
gotten
it
to see
too?
it. I don't think I've ever read the reprint. I think this is like the second or third this is like the third or fourth reprint of this. Um,
Oh, I
but
did pick it up. No, wait, I picked up the Wonder Woman.
yeah, the Wonder
There was a
Woman came
Wonder
out as
Woman
well.
one. Yeah, Wonder
Yes,
Woman one. Yep.
but
Okay. All good.
yeah, this week it seemed to be DC is doing their reprints this week, so I had to add one to the thing. So
So since this is such an iconic thing, even though it's a reprint, what do you rate
ah, I'm gonna go classic. Since we're doing old timey steak and eggs,
it?
steak and
Steak and
eggs,
eggs,
steak and
Irish
eggs.
coffee.
Oh, hey, we leave the alcohol out of this now. It's yeah,
What?
you have a
No.
cigarette with breakfast. It's a
No,
cigarette.
that's very a filter. You have a fucking Lucky Strike. Yeah,
Yes,
there you
yeah.
go.
You
There you
smoke
go.
a Lucky Strike with your steak and eggs.
There you go. All right. All right, my first book is Transformers #2 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spencer coloring. This book continues to be awesome. Um, the last issue we got to see Optimus Prime suplex um, Starscream, which was awesome. This one you get a little bit more understanding of how the Autobots feel about Earth. Like Optimus Prime walks around and he's like, "Oh man, look at this! It's so beautiful!" And blah blah blah. And all of a sudden he steps on a deer, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh my.
and so him and Spike kind of get to know each other, and then like Cliff Jumper shows up, and Cliff Jumper's freaked out by Spike because he's never seen a human before. Um, they're the Decepticons go and try to steal some more oil stuff to make energon, and while they're doing that, they scramble jet fighters to go and deal with the bogies, right? Like the U.S. government does. And one of the guys one of the jet fighters is Duke. So you see that, like his plane, he ejects from the plane hits like something, blows up, and he has like that jet pack with the little tiny wings like a GI Joe would have on him, and
Okay.
he just flies away. But you obviously see that it says Duke on his shirt. So this is the first part where we're getting the crossover universe with GI Joe. Story continued to be great, um, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes. But this one was a lot of um, here's what the Autobots and the Decepticons are. There's a war on Cybertron. Blah blah blah. This is why we're here. Da da da. So on and so forth. Still no sign of Megatron. There's some cool Soundwave moments. Um, and uh, as an honorable mention tie-in, I will just say like if you haven't read um, Void Rivals 4 or 5, it also ties into the Transformers. The Quintessons are in there. Um, Also, Shockwave is still back on Cybertron, running Cybertron. It's pretty cool how they're tying all this universe together. I'm really enjoying it. I give this book um, 2 breakfast burritos with hot sauce, a hash brown, and a iced mocha.
Oh my. That's very
Yeah,
sophisticated for Saturday morning cartoons.
you
I
know
thought
what?
you would have I
This
thought
is
you would have
very
went like Pop Tart.
no, but this was really good. I really enjoyed it. Like I really think everybody
Okay.
should check it out. So,
Well, it's Daniel Warren Johnson, so
well,
it's
yeah. Who am I, Tim?
ah.
Come on.
No, Tim would just be like, Murder Falcon, Murder Falcon.
Murder Falcon.
All right.
We love you,
Teenage
Hibbert. It's
Mutant
okay.
Ninja Teenage
And
Mutant
Cope,
Ninja
you're both the
Turtles
same. You're the same way.
versus Street Fighter #5, the finale of the series, I believe. Um
It is. It's the
this
finale.
yes. So this picks up where like it's total chaos. Um so the whole crew is fighting to stop a bomb going off, fighting Shredder, fighting M Bison, like it's just turned into a giant you know what show.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I have to say this has to be like one of my favorite series of the year. This may be like when we do our top comics of the year, this has got to be like one of my top 5 easy. Um just so much fun. Um Obviously the good guys win because yeah, Street Fighter has to win. It's no fun if M Bison or Shredder win because it's no fun. Um but you did see a cool thing of Shredder versus M Bison. I think that could be a spin-off comic on its own. Because they literally just kind of beat on each other for a little bit. Um, Obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, it ends pretty much how you think it will. It's not like super sophisticated, but I think this whole thing was just if you're a Street Fighter fan and you're a Ninja Turtle fan, it's just one of those things. I I think this beats Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, to be honest with you. Like because Power Rangers pretty much mix in with like half a dozen other things. But I feel like for something to kind of fit with Street Fighter, you have to have the same kind of mentality, which Ninja Turtles at their core are. Uh, so,
Hmm.
yeah, I easily give this like, give me three scrambled eggs, three flapjacks. Like, this is a full on buffet kind of breakfast. Like, you pile the plate, like
Fair.
type deal. So, for those who still have not read it, please go ahead, pick up 1 through 5. Short series. It's fun. It's exactly what you think it is. And that the every cover, A, B, C, D, and some of the rare ones, they're all awesomely done.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Ooh, my next one, Josie and the Pussycats anniversary special numero uno. So, as some of you know, I love Josie and the Pussycats. Like, I love the comics. I love the movie. I love the cartoon show. Um, I love the soundtrack to the movie a lot. Um, this was a really fun read because it was not only a celebration of Josie and the Pussycats, it was a celebration of Josie in general. So it's three minis. The first one is like the Pussycats go into space and they're jamming also on the ground with some other people. Another one is the second book is like Josie and um, Melody are just like hanging out and like the one of the other guys is like stuck in a tree and Josie's like, you're gonna fall out, fall out of the tree, and then he does. And then Alex shows up, who's one of the twins, and he is like a super douche in this because he's like written like it would have been in the 50s and 60s. So she gets in the car and she like they make like a sex joke in there, like an off like an awkward um like I know what kind of exercises you do type thing. Um it was kind of funny. The third one is Pepper Smith with Josie and they so Pepper goes camping with Melody and Melody teaches her to basically like or Melody's like kind of like the she's like the dumb blonde character, like the stereotypical dumb blonde character. But all these dudes do everything for her. So um uh Pepper will be like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Let's go fishing," and she'd be like, "Oh, cool! Look at all the fish these guys caught for me." Like, you know. And eventually Pepper's like, "Oh, yeah, Melody knows best." Um, and then there's a reprinted from an Archie Archives, um, like basically the Pussycats before they were the Pussycats, plus Alex and Alexandria, plus um, oh, what is his name? Uh, plus the other dude who's kind of like her boyfriend on and off again, and it's almost like a Goonies adventure, but it's like a reprint from a story, because they find this old cabin and then they find an old stairwell and then they find an old pirate's knife and they go through and they're looking for the treasure, and then they're like, nope, we're not doing that ever again. Whatever. Um, it was really cool to see. And then my buddy Mike got to do the editor's notes in the back, which was a cool story to hear kind of the story of Josie. So oh man, I'm going to give this book. Oh, let's do two eggs sunny side up, a hash brown, toast, and a small cup of orange juice. Nope, sorry, small cup of milk. They are the Pussycat.
What, orange juice is too racy?
No, it's because the cat joke. They would make that cat joke.
Okay.
They'd be like, "Oh, you're not having milk," like that would be the kind of joke you'd find in a Pussycat's joke or a Pussycat's thing. So, and I can't be 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that the Pussycat Dolls stole their name from the fact of Josie and the Pussycats being like wearing cat ears and doing that kind of stuff and being a rock band and things. So, but I love that. It's one of my favorites. So, all right.
All right.
Hold on. How the fuck does that happen? Oh, never mind. That's not blood. That's just
his uniform. Yeah.
His ripped uniform.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually bleeding. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, it's X-Force number 46. Now I haven't read a lot of or I haven't done a lot of reviews on X-Force because it's been so long. This is one of the longer runs of X-Force in a long time. And of course there's a lot of the Fall of X stuff. Pretty much all the X-Men stuff has something to deal with the Fall of X. The last time was it Colossus kind of portrays X-Force because he was being mind controlled and used. And they were inside a pocket dimension. So there's the remaining X-Force members like Wolverine, Omega Red, Kid Omega, Doctor Strange, Domino, and Sage enter the dimension. Kind of helps them escape. Colossus confronts his brother. It turns into like kind of a very cliche, choosing the X-Men over his flesh and blood. It's very emotional, I guess, but I feel like we get this a lot with Colossus, with a lot of emotional things. But I think they made this way too long. But this has a lot to do with the Fall of X and the Hellfire Gala and the whole 9 yards. I mean, in all honesty, it was what they had. There you get some appearances of the Chronicler, some decent action pop. Like the action really pops off the page, and it's finally nearing the end of this arc. But like I said, this is kind of like one of those very brother versus brother tropes. I feel like you kind of gotten a little bit more creative with it. And it did feel like there was some unnecessary action in this, which is funny for an X-Men, book.
Right.
But in general, it wasn't bad. I'd say this is like a little average. So I'm gonna give this like a dippy egg with I'll give it dry toast because like I said, it's just kind of moves the story forward. There is a little bit of the conflict of the family and the stuff, and it is a key component to the Fall of X. So there's some positives in it. I will give it a piece of bacon or a piece of sausage, something like that, where it's a standard breakfast, nothing special or spectacular about it, but it moves the story along. I think there's 3 issues left, and then this is done.
Hmm.
Because I think this ends on like issue 49, which is really odd. So, uh, yeah, this is probably by far the worst out of the 3 books that I've reviewed, and this is probably the first one in a while, first X Force stuff in a while, and this is probably why I haven't reviewed a lot of X Force. It seems like a lot of this is very filler to me, and they could have cut this whole run in half,
Yeah,
and I probably still
that
would have gotten
yeah.
the same message down.
I'm not a big fan of the what they're doing with Fall of X stuff. Like it just seems like they're like, oh, we did all this stuff with Kirkman, now we got to undo it.
Yeah, yeah, this is a
And
lot
it's
of
just like,
cleaning up the mess. I
yeah,
mean, I love the Hellfire Gala, the one shot, awesome, and I like the Wolverine is still like the Wolverine stuff is pretty solid, but Wolverine's always kind of better on his
hmm,
own half the time. So, but I've kept up with the X Force since 2019. So this is before COVID. I was starting to read this. But
yeah,
was it Benjamin Percy? Percy? Yes, Percy. Uh, Excellent writer. I can't complain. He's solid. He's been writing since this whole thing since he took over for Hickman, so can't
right.
complain. At least he's finishing it. So
That's fair, I guess. A fair assessment, I
yeah,
guess. All right. My last book, Punisher #1, by 2 people that I know, Dave Pepos and Dave Wachter. The 2 Daves. Um, Dave Pepos, I've known since he did uh what Spencer and Locke for Action Lab. He's gone on to do Going to the Chapel, Scouts Honor, um, Avengers, Savage Avengers, and Moon Knight. He's currently doing the Moon Knight City of the Dead run too. And then Dave Wachter, who's a Pittsburgher. He's a transplant from Cleveland. He made the better choice. And he just wrapped up his Planet of the Apes run. He did Godzilla. He did um, uh, Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon. Um, oh man, he did Star Wars, one of the High Republic books. So this is a good book. So first off, surprise, it is not Frank Castle. So if you don't know,
as
Frank
if you
Castle's
couldn't tell.
technically dead right now. Um, so this is their new Punisher character. And I'll get into that in a second. So I like this new design because I think it actually is very throwback to the original Skull outfit without being the skull, right? Because like originally the skull was eyes, and then the belt. Like the belt were the teeth. Um, and I think this kind of homages that with giving it some new life at the same time. So the new guy, his name is Joe Garrison. It starts off that someone blew up his family in the house. They try to make it look like a gas leak. Here it was a Russian um, guy, I believe is what they call or said. Uh, the Sokovian, actually. Sorry, the Sokovian, not the Russian. Sokovian. And then so the new Punisher comes in. There's a bunch of like the ninja guys that wear the demon masks. Um, he beats a bunch of them up. Tries to get this guy because he's the guy who killed his family. Um, for the most part, it's just him beating up those kind of guys. His microchip is named AAA, and she is a or both of them are like old military people. Um, and they used to work for Shield. Oh, this is also cool. He rides a motorcycle like Dolph Lundgren does, which I thought was cool. Uh, and like the book in general is very good because like oh yes, he eventually goes and tries to find Mr. Hyde, like, or he ends up fighting Mr. Hyde in an awesome fight scene. Um, his weapons are way techier than regular Punishers were. Um, but he's definitely very specifically hunting down bad people, which they kind of get back to the origins of Punisher that way. Um, and the whole time the like the news and everybody is like, so there's a new Punisher in town, and this is a new Punisher that's doing this, and a new Punisher, blah blah blah. And they do it well. There's this freaking awesome scene at the end where he shoots the Sokovian in the head between a passing train. Like as the train's flying by, he shoots at the right time. It goes between the cars and kills him. And it might be the
Nice.
coolest. It might be one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen a as drawn out because it's 2 pages long. It's probably some of the best onomatopoeia because it's you see the train that's like across on all the pages. Um, and it's gorgeous. Like Wachter crushes this book. Um, and it's kind of got I think they picked Dave, or I think Dave Wachter ended up being the right guy for this book because he has that sort of kind of Ramita style a little bit. Um, and it definitely shows off in this book. Like, I don't know if it's just Dan Brown's coloring, um, or what, but it has a very cool Ramita throwback look to the original like 129 ASM 129 vibe when Ramita did that book. So I really recommend this book for anyone who likes Punisher. I was never a huge Punisher fan, but I wanted to check it out, and I really enjoyed the book. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this a very Punisher breakfast. It's gonna be um, oatmeal made purely with water and not even heated up. Because I feel that that's what the Punisher would eat, but he would be super pumped about it. So, and then like black, like coffee that looks like molasses, like like thick, almost like a slimy black coffee, like a sludge.
Is
That's
this supposed
that's what I want.
is this supposed to be a positive review?
It
Because
is.
that sounds
I think that is.
awful.
I think that's a positive review for a Punisher. Like, come on, man. So,
I feel not even a homeless guy would eat that shit.
oh yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. Trust me. All right. So that brings
Wow.
us to that brings us to the Ghostbusters um, Frozen Empire trailer. So uh, this I didn't even know they made this movie, to be honest.
I was going to
And
say that
then
was kind of a
last
shocker.
week, last week Funko was like, "Hey, just so you know, like you have to order these, but we can't tell you what any of them look like and who the characters are. But there's a movie coming out, and the trailer will be out next week." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "Sure, we'll order it." And then yesterday, the Steel City Ghostbusters posted a trailers dropping tomorrow. Check it out. And it had this frozen over Ghostbuster logo, and I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" Um, so the trailer looks great. It looks like they they're now out of the let's homage the original stuff and connect it to the new stuff and introduce all the characters. But it looks like all the characters from the Afterlife movie have now moved to New York. They're living in the firehouse. The original Ghostbusters are there. They've helped do some stuff. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of a heat wave in the summer, the entire city freezes over. I'm super excited because the dude who played Walter Peck is coming back. And I can't wait for him.
That's the only
I
one
want,
that was missing.
listen, I I want him to either be well. I mean, we're not going to get Rick Moranis in there either, but I'm I want him to be either the guy who finally shuts off the thing again, or I want him to be the guy that sets off the chain reaction for all this stuff to happen.
I, do we want redemption arc for him, or is he still a dick?
I think he's still a dick, but oh, that would be hilarious if he was like, "Oh no, we have to back these guys. Let's fund these." Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would
I
be
feel
that would
like
be
redemption
pretty.
arc would be you'd have to be you'd have to have a really good story, like backstory for him to have a
Mm,
redemption. Because basically, what the last time we saw him was the very end of OG Ghostbusters, and he
yep,
got slimed by what was
Slimer.
left of no, he got slimed by Stay Puff. What was left
Oh,
of the
that's
Stay
right.
Puff?
That's
Remember the
right.
big geyser
Yeah,
of
yeah. It just
marshmallow
fell all the way down
right
and
down on
splattered all
him.
over him. Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Uh, I think this movie looks really good. Um,
I was gonna
I
say
will
I
bet
agree.
it's probably going to come out in July, like because I think that was the plan
Mhm.
with the heat wave thing, and I hope it's still on track. Which, by the way, I just got a notification. The Actors Guild has um reached an agreement, so yay, shit's back on track. Well, it's going to be delayed, but it's at least sort of on track for the fall or for the
Yeah.
spring. Yay.
Yay. Yeah. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
I
So, but anyway, I really think this looks good. It looks fun. I thought Afterlife was good. Um,
yes.
although I read a really good article about how Afterlife was only good because of the nostalgia feature
Mhm.
versus the girls one, the Answer the Call one, was actually a better Ghostbusters doing horror comedy movie. And I was like, yeah, I think there's merit to both of those defenses. Um,
Yes.
I don't think that the girl one was bad, but I
Ugh.
don't think that I I think that if it wasn't a reboot, like if they could have tied it in, it would have been better. But because it was like a clean boot, like a reboot, it was like, oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. And I
Well,
really, really, really hated Chris the hell's
Helmsworth.
his name? Helmsworth in it. Yeah. He was awful.
Yeah. I think there was too many big comedians in that one for it to um they
Oh, I
tried to
don't.
do the formula like the 80s. The problem was the only true comedian, like at the time, was technically Bill Murray, because he was the comedian from the comedian circuit. Ernie Hudson was
No,
not
no, 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 no,
known.
sir. No,
He was
sir.
not.
No. No, 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 sir. The only one who was not a comedian was Ernie Hudson. The
Yes,
other
that's what
three
I
guys
said.
were no, no. You said the only one who was a comedian was Bill Murray. I'm like,
Well,
that is not true
stand-up
because
comedian. He was stand-up
no,
comedian at the
no, no,
time.
you're wrong. I'm telling you that the three guys that were not Ernie Hudson were all in the National Lampoons. Like all three of them were National Lampoons.
Okay.
So they
I never
all went
watched
to
it,
Saturday
so
Night
I
Live. They weren't on film though. They were
yeah.
on the radio version. Then they
Okay.
all went to Saturday Night Live, except for um, Egon. He
Yeah.
wasn't on Saturday Night Live, but he
No.
was still with the Lampoons. So then him and Dan Aykroyd wrote the movie as a horror comedy movie. They brought in Bill Murray. They
Yeah.
brought in Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
So
Ernie Hudson was a straight actor. He was not known
yeah,
for comedy at all. I know Bill Murray was an up and coming on the rise comedian. I know Dan Aykroyd was an established comedian during Saturday Night Live era, because that was about the same time he was doing a lot of the classic Saturday Night Live legendary lineup type deal.
Mhm.
And like you said, Egon he was a comedian, but he was under the radar. Like nobody, like if you were in the comedy, you knew who he was, but if you weren't, he was very under the radar, is what I
Right.
was
Well,
saying.
I mean,
Like,
well, yes and no, because they had just done Stripes, which was him and Bill Murray, um, and he was a lot more on the writing. Like he was always a better
yeah,
writer than on film. Either way, I thought it was really well. Like I always enjoyed the original ones. Um, well, the original more than the second one.
but my point is
Um,
that the females, you use too many high, like everybody knew who every of these women were. Like everybody knew who they were.
I don't think
And
that had anything to do with it. I think the thing that
I think it
I
was
think
too
the
much
thing
star
that
power.
I don't. I think the thing that fucked that movie was that it was not a sequel, and that the bad guy wasn't. It was more of a MacGuffin. It was, hey, there's this bad guy over here in the background. He's going to be doing things, and I mean, it
Yeah,
was like that in the original too. But it
yeah.
was like, hey, we're going to be over here doing this thing, and then how many times do we have to do like a Marshmallow Man? Like,
Well, I'm not saying
I mean, in
that.
Afterlife, we got the mini guys,
Yeah,
um, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it had anything to do with the women or how big of a star they were. I think it had to do with the script wasn't great and it wasn't a sequel. The thing that made Afterlife good because it had a bunch of no name dudes except for
Paul
like
Rudd.
the one kid from Stranger Things and Paul Rudd.
Rudd.
That
Yeah.
and then but it had the original guys in it at some point,
Yes.
right? But it linked to two and it continued on the legacy of the original one. So
Yes.
I think if the women would have picked up from those guys instead of it being a whole basic reboot, and it was pretty much the first movie over, like it would have been a lot better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I still enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought I had fun. There were moments that were awesome, like the pistols, like that was freaking awesome.
Yeah. Like there were
There
cool
was some
parts about it, but it wasn't. I don't think it had the same like the impact was obviously different.
right,
And
but
I'm not.
right, but uh, but Afterlife was a love letter to Egon, like a
Yes.
full
Yes.
on love letter to Egon. It played upon a lot more of the legacy stuff than it did anything new.
Yeah.
And I think it worked better for the fan base because they wanted that closure,
Yes.
right? And I think that's why it worked better than the girl one. But
Yes.
I think the girl one was more of a horror comedy.
Yeah.
The other one was more of a, hey, we're gonna remember Egon a lot.
Well, it's
To the point where
obvious.
we're literally going to have his ghost in here that he
Yeah.
filmed before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, yeah, well, regardless, like you said, the trailer looked good. This looks way more. I'm gonna say maybe more serious than the last one. Like this feels very. The big bad is more Gozer
mm,
than Chris Helmsworth dancing, doing the weird thing he did in the female movie.
oh yeah. That was super weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean
that
we
was
did get Ghoster though. We got Olivia or we got not Olivia Munn. Olivia the hell's her name? The girl from House. She was she was Gozer in the Afterlife movie.
yeah,
Which was
but
funny because she posted pictures of her like that on
yeah.
Instagram. It was like around Halloween. It was like, check out my awesome Halloween outfit. And like everyone's like, holy shit, that looks great. It was super funny. But anyway, um yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks darker, which is
Yes,
I think it's getting back to the tone of the first movie, which is why I think this is gonna be a very good.
yeah, this is going to be one of those. Hopefully, it will be one of those big blockbusters. Uh, this may be one of those ones where you
Fingers
actually
crossed.
can go to the movie theater to enjoy it. Uh, you know,
What? You're lying. No one goes to
Unlike a
theater.
certain movie coming up this week that people complain about this movie anymore. The
I mean, they
Marvel
haven't even
movies.
seen it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
I haven't heard like positive, like they say, like a lot of the critics say it's actually a really good movie, but
yeah, yeah.
then all the negative you know what's are like, oh, you're getting paid to say this, how much is Marvel paying you, how much is Disney paying you? And it's like, how about we see what this is before you guys lose your, lose your mind. I mean, and this kind of goes back to this whole
Wow.
what is it, the
So
SheMU thing that seems to be popping up
I've
now.
never heard that.
Oh, it's all over YouTube, it's all over
Yeah,
Twitter. I mean,
yeah.
the only thing that has been on it more is certain current events going on in our country, but every like major influencer, comic influencer, I'm embarrassed to
Justin,
be a
I,
I'm
I think
embarrassed to
you
be a
need to.
white
I
guy.
think you need to. I think you need to change your preferences of things you watch, or just step away from them for like a month.
Well, I
I
try to
feel like you end up.
watch.
I feel like you've somehow fallen into this rabbit hole of like like comic influencers who are just poison. Like because every
I
time you talk about
find
any of them, you're like, these guys are awful, and I'm just like, why do you keep watching them then?
it's like
Like,
watching a
is it
train
just
wreck. You can't
right? Yeah,
not watch it because the some some of the guys are like, they do like statistics and books and things, and I like
yeah,
watching that for just to keep in step of what's going on, because sometimes I don't have time to uh
right.
watch cover price like 24/7. But some of these guys, I'm sorry, I thought we were supposed to include comics are it's supposed to include everybody. And I know, yes, that nobody likes Brie Larson like as Miss Marvel. We get it.
I
She
do. I think she was fine,
the general
but I
gist
also
of
have
it,
read the. But I've read the books.
yeah.
Like,
Well, apparently either these guys haven't, or they're just like so nasty about it that they just blow up. Like I liked Miss
uh,
Marvel, the
I
TV
think
show.
I think you've
I enjoyed it.
accidentally fallen into a comics gate wormhole.
Yeah. I think it's what it is. Well, I started like unfollowing these guys, but
Yeah.
of course
Okay. Good.
YouTube, it takes forever to get out of the loop.
Cycle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm down to like two or three guys that are like in general, like they're objective across the board.
Yeah.
They're not judgy,
Yeah.
but some of these judgy guys, it's like, look, I get it. You guys want all like everything straight out of old school Marvel, this, that, and the other, which trust me, I want a proper Hulk. I
Yeah.
want a proper Wolverine. But I'm willing
Oh,
to be
speaking of which,
patient.
uh, Peter David just had another stroke and another heart attack, and he has
Oh,
another
no.
GoFundMe up. So if you guys want to go pitch him some money, go do that because Peter David.
Yeah.
All right. We're out of time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody for watching. We have one more episode next week until and then we're gonna
Yes.
break for the rest of the year because it's gonna get crazy and I will be really
Are we
busy.
doing like year end
And
stuff early?
um,
I feel like
nah,
are you
maybe,
sure? Or do you
maybe.
want to do
We'll
that coming back?
we'll talk about it tomorrow. It'll be fine. Uh,
Okay.
we'll figure it out.
All
All right.
right.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you next week and stay safe out there.